Judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is better? It's a question that keeps getting put up on forums and stuff that I've seen recently. It's a bit of a stupid question because nobody ever puts it into context. Yeah, what system are we looking at for what situation? So, excuse me, if your goal is to become an Olympic gold medalist representing your country in the sport of judo, then judo is better. If your goal is to become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is better. You know, it's ridiculous. They each have their strengths. They each have a weakness. So I'm guessing that people are saying judo or BJJ, which is better for having a scrap, which is better for having a fight. Again, we're then taking it out of context. It needs to be put in the context of, are you talking about a match fight or are you talking about self-defense? They're two separate things. I've been over this with the videos of the three siblings. So a match fight is, as the great Ian Abernethy called it, consensual violence. We both agree to be there. We're both going to do this. Whether that be 6 months down the line, we're going to fight each other in Madison Square Garden for the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing. Whether it be a few months' time, we're going to be in Liverpool for an MMA event. Whether it be we're going to be in a local leisure centre or this coming Sunday on a martial arts tournament. Whatever it is, it's consensual. We're both agreeing to be there under the specific rules that are put out the guidelines. Self-defense is non-consensual violence. I don't particularly want to be doing this, but you're stopping me on my way, and I'm going to have to do something physical to get away from you. So the objective of a fight, of a match fight, is I have to win. I have to beat you. I have to be clearly decided the winner, whether it be knocking you out, making you submit, or dominating you for the period of the fight to the point where the judges or the referee decides I won. So the objective of self-defense is I don't care about winning. I don't care if I can beat you in a fight. I care about getting myself away from you and away from the danger as quickly as possible whilst taking as little damage to myself as possible. That's the objective of self-defense. So, judo or BJJ? If you're in a submission tournament, judo has submissions, obviously. BJJ has taken the judo submissions and refined them. So the submissions you find in judo, in BJJ, they're more refined, they're more based off leverage, so maybe the weaker person has just as much opportunity as using them as the stronger person. Obviously, let's just be clear on this, if you're highly skilled in BJJ and you're quite strong as well physically, then you're obviously going to beat somebody who is highly skilled in BJJ but isn't as physically strong as you. However, if you're doing it purely for self-defense, the ground is the last place we want to go, which is why for the R-blood system, the stuff from BJJ that we've stolen is the ground stuff from if you're underneath, how do you get the guy off you and get back up to your feet so you can escape? With judo, the ground is not where you want to go, but with the throws and the trips and the sweeps, occasionally if it goes wrong, especially if you're outside, and footwear becomes a factor, the terrain you're on becomes a factor, the weather affects the terrain you're on, so it could be a nice flat smooth surface, it could be cobblestones, whatever. In Chester here we've got a lot of areas that are cobblestones. If it's been raining, the cobbles become death trap, you'll slip and slide all over the place. So those things become a factor. So when you might get the throw or the trip or the sweep, however you end up on the ground, you need to know what you're doing there. So that's why I would say personally for self-defense purposes, judo is based more on I'm going to throw you down so I can get away. Whereas Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is I'm going to take you down so I can dominate you. Both have their place. Both need to be looked into and trained. Again, for me, as I've always said, if you're short on time and short on money, boxing twice a week, judo once a week, that's enough for self-defense purposes. If your purpose is purely, I live in a bad area or my work puts me in front of bad people, then boxing twice a week, judo once a week is more than enough. You're not planning on becoming an athlete, you're not planning on competing, you're not trying to become a world champion. It's just something there that's back there that will keep you safe, such as a spare tire in your car or a first aid kit at work. It's there if you need it, but it shouldn't be at the forefront of everything you do. With Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I would say if you're planning on competing in submission tournaments or if you're planning on competing in MMA, then yes, you absolutely need BJJ, and I would probably lean heavily more towards BJJ for match fighting than I would for judo, just purely because in most match fighting scenarios, being combat sports, the clothing we wear, a lot of BJJ is done, with no-gi BJJ. Granted, no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does look a hell of a lot like catch wrestling without pins. Both worth looking into, but judo tends to stick more richly to stuff with a gi. So again, as Dave Turtle's pointed out in one of his articles, you can be really, really great at judo, but if you get into a fight with somebody on a beach on holiday and they're slathered in sunblock and they're sweating a bit, you're trying to get a grip on them if they're not wearing a shirt, which they probably won't be at the beach. It's like grabbing a bar of wet soap, they're just going to slide out. So you need to train everything, gi and no gi. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tends to lend itself towards that more. They've really made a science out of no-gi training. Judo seems to still be quite hesitant, and I'm not entirely certain why. But not to go off track here with this video. Judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is better? It's purely contextual. What is better for you? What is your purpose? I would suggest, once again in closing, if you're doing it purely for, I just need self-defense, I just need something that will hit hard, quickly, impact so I can get away, I would dedicate myself to Judo. If you're doing it for match fighting purposes, being that you're looking to engage in a series of one-on-one contests, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is an absolute must. There. I don't know if I've appeased everybody. I don't know if I've royally pissed everybody off. Either or, doesn't matter. I'm speaking what I consider to be the truth. Any comments, questions, queries, or suggestions, pop them in the box. If you completely disagree with everything I've said, if you agree partially with what I've said, whatever. If you have a club that trains no-gi judo, please get in touch and let me know how you guys are finding that. We do a little bit of no-gi judo in our club. Obviously, once COVID is lifted the restrictions, we're going to get more into it heavily, so there'll be clips for that. And also be able to have some footage of us actually demonstrating the differences that I've just gone over in this clip. So until next time, train hard, train smart, stay safe.